Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Alan Sandler. He's joining us here as President and Head of Global Development and Oncology at Zai Lab. He's going to share some insights about Zai Lab's growing and diversified oncology portfolio. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Dr. Sandler. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, give us a little bit of insight into who Alan is and talk briefly about your role as President and Head of Global Development there at Zai Lab.
Sure, thanks. So my background is that of a medical oncologist, which was my training. I then worked for about 20 years in academics at Indiana University, Vanderbilt University, and Oregon Health and Science, where I also was the chief of the Division of Hematology Oncology. I then joined industry in the summer of 2013 when I joined Genentech. And spent about 7.5 years at Genentech, working my way up to head of late-stage oncology development, and then joined Zai in December of 2020, and as head of global development, as you pointed out in oncology as well, and to work with Zai as it continues to, we continue to expand from a China regional-based company to a integrated global biopharmaceutical company.
Tell us what it is that differentiates Zai's oncology pipeline from competitors.
Sure. So Zai is a very interesting, I'm biased, of course, but a very interesting company and approach. And of course, it was founded and is led by Samantha Du, who's really somewhat of a legend in the biotech world in China. And so the concept was twofold: to bring novel therapies to China. And so in that respect, we look at agents that have received a proof of concept. There's some clinical evidence of activity. And then what we do is we partner with these companies and work with them to conduct the studies that are necessary in China to gain approval in China and provide access to patients in China for these medications that they would not otherwise have. And so a strength of Zai is our operational capabilities, regulatory in China, and then now commercial capabilities as well. And that's one aspect of Zai, and the unique aspect of it is by doing so, there is revenue that is there to fuel the internal discovery program, which is the other half of Zai Lab. And that is to build and develop our own internal development capabilities, either through our own research capabilities and also through business development and partnering activities as well.
Now, it's my understanding that Zai is focused on ovarian cancer, non-small cell lung cancer, gastric cancer, and colorectal cancer. Why has Zai decided to focus on those 4 areas specifically?
Great. So the strategy that we've developed and are continuing to develop and evolve at Zai is we're looking for areas of unmet needs. And of course, the areas of unmet needs in China may potentially be different than areas of unmet needs in other areas of the world. But in China in particular, non-small cell lung cancer is of course very important, and particularly a subset of non-small cell lung cancer with what's known as an EGFR, epidermal growth factor receptor mutation, where the incidence rate ranges from 40 to 60% in China and about 15 to 20% elsewhere outside of Asia. So that was one aspect of that. Gastric cancer, of course, the epidemiology of gastric cancer is the prevalence is markedly higher in Asian countries such as Korea, Japan, and of course China. And so it represents a huge patient population of significant unmet medical need. And so that's why those two were selected. Ovarian cancer was through a partnership. There is a significant unmet need with that as well. But we also have an interest in DNA damage response mechanisms and PARP inhibitors, which are used. Niraparib is the one for us in particular that we have partnered with GSK on that. And so we're fortunate to have that, which is now approved in China as well in the first line setting for maintenance setting of ovarian cancer.
Are regulatory issues the main challenge when it comes to your expansion in China specifically, or are there other challenges that are faced not only with with Zai, but with pharmaceuticals and other biotech companies that are developing these new cancer therapies?
Yes, in China, every country and every aspect of the world has their own unique issues and challenges, maybe, and opportunities that to work on. And in China, tremendous unmet need, tremendous opportunity to help these patients acquire and be able to receive treatment that they might not otherwise receive. Regulatory has improved remarkably in China over the years. So I've been in industry, as I mentioned, about 10 years-ish now, give or take. And toward the beginning of my time when I was at Genentech, and Genentech, of course, is part of Roche, we had our own clinical group in China for oncology. And actually, ultimately, I oversaw that while I was there. And it used to take 2+ years to try and get a clinical trial approved to get started in China, and now it's maybe somewhere around 6 to 9 months. It compares very favorably with that outside China as well. So the opportunities to conduct clinical trials in China are improving rapidly all the time. They have a unique pricing structure that we're working with, but on the other hand, they also have a growing private healthcare model as well. So there's the challenges, but tremendous opportunities in China, and we're fortunate to be, I think, one of the top pharmaceutical companies in China in that regard, and able to provide exceptional treatments to patients in China.
What do you think about new technologies like AI and medical device diagnostics? Do you think that these new technologies will greatly change the way that cancer therapies are being developed?
Yes. Quick answer, of course, is yes. I think that it's really remarkable, the changes in drug development over the years. I think we've seen, and certainly I've been able to see the differences during my time where lung cancer, in particular non-small cell lung cancer, was one where the diagnosis basically was made using 17th century technology, just the microscope. And we looked at it whether they had large cells or small cells. It was divided between non-small cell and small cell lung cancer, and treatment was essentially the same. A couple of chemotherapy agents that were utilized, to now where there are now multiple treatments, what is now known as precision medicine or targeted therapy. And so we are now able to more precisely treat these patients with therapies with fewer side effects, certainly, than chemotherapy, and also much more effective, where patients are living much longer and fulfilling lives because of the better safety profile as well. So that is something that's made huge impact. The artificial intelligence also is something that is still evolving, but I have no doubt we'll be able to take advantage of this in the future. That currently seems to be used a bit more in trying to identify targets and molecules for those targets as well. May well be very involved in that, again, precision medicine approach. you mentioned also devices as well, and we are partnering with a company known as Novacure, who has a very interesting, actually medical device, tumor treating fields. That's been approved in the United States for glioblastoma and I believe also mesothelioma as well. We have partnered with them, and we have gained that approval for glioblastoma. And they also have studies in non-small cell lung cancer. And in fact, that is going to be a readout toward the end of this year in second-line non-small cell lung cancer. And this device works through electric currents. It's a device that's worn by the patient and actually inhibits cell division of the tumors. So a remarkably different and unique mechanism of action, and it's able to be combined with other therapies such as either chemotherapy or targeted therapy. So we're looking forward to the outcome of that particular study, and that's something that's certainly quite novel as well.
Well, give us a website where we can learn much more about Zai Labs.
Sure. So that would be www.com, that would be ZaiLaboratory.com, and that's ZAI laboratory.com, all one word.
Alan, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Health Professional Radio.
Great. Thank you.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Dr. Alan Sandler, President and Head of Global Development Oncology at Zai Lab. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/healthprofessionalradio.